Now, this is certainly a view we need to get used to, an Airbus in the livery of Transavia, and now we have a Scale 500 aircraft model from Herpa Wings. But how is that actually? Is it worth our time and money? That's what we want to find out, and we can do so thanks to our partner here on the channel, Jumbolino Model, who have brilliant models at reasonable prices from true collectors. They're collecting themselves and therefore understand our madness. So do check them out. There's a link to them in the video description below. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A321NEO in the colors of Transavia. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of that we have the Transavia branding. And as exciting as that all sounds, well, it doesn't get much more exciting when we look at the backside of the box, because here we just have another cutout. I mean, yeah, the box is what it is and Herpa still doesn't change it, which is a big shame, but let's just move on and take a look at the model inside. And here she is, the Airbus A321NEO in the standard livery of Transavia. We'll get into that a little bit later. Well, certainly a look we need to get used to. Transavia, of course, so far being operating a Boeing aircraft exclusively for the moment. That has, of course, changed now with Airbus aircraft model. And I said the standard livery of Transavia. Now, technically, it looks like they have actually now introduced a reworked new standard livery, which is coming with new deliveries. But this is still pretty much the standard livery we see across the fleet. So let's just call it that. But how has Herpa done with this aircraft model? That is, of course, the big question we want to answer in this video. And we will try to do so by simply taking it step by step. Taking a look at the tail section, where we, on the vertical stabilizer, have the Transavia branding. Above that, we have the last three letters of the registration code. On the fuselage, we then find the full registration code of the aircraft. We also find the Air France KLM Group logo. Then we have a bunch of colorful lines next to the cabin door. If I'm not mistaken, this is basically saying welcome in all sorts of languages on the rear aircraft. Because it is so tiny on this aircraft model, it just is represented by lines. Then we also have a bit of detailing towards the very tail of the aircraft in form of the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, we then have the writing of Transavia. We again find these colorful lines next to the front cabin door. We have some hatches. So yeah, overall looking all right. I still would like to have a few more markings, but okay, we at least get that from Herpa nowadays. The aircraft type specification we find underneath the cockpit windows. Those have, of course, been given the typical neo black mask. We also have the metallic edges around the cockpit windows. Again, find the last three letters of the registration code above the cockpit windows. And we should not forget to mention, we do also have the window wipers. So that's quite lovely. And also here we can find another little static port. So that is overall, I think, pretty all right. What about the engine nacelles? Now, they have been kept in all white, as most of the fuselage, but we do find the silver leading edge has been printed on, as well as the Transavia branding and the safety markings, so that's actually quite nice. The physical detailing of the new engines from Herpa Wings, I think, look really nice. I really don't want to complain here, especially also here from the front. Very, very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. On the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exits printed on, leading us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at, starting over the top side, where we have the different flaps, nuts, and spoilers carved out very nicely. We have some different shades of grey for additional detailing, and we find the emergency exit markings have been printed on as well. The underside of the wings has more nice physical detailing, and we find the full registration code of the aircraft once again. And of course, the A320NEO has these lovely winglets with the Transavia branding, but with Herpa Wings being super inconsistent with these winglets, you really do need to check them on each individual aircraft model to see if they have been bent correctly. On this side, I think it looks fine. On the other side, I think that's also within margin. So in this case, pretty all right. Then, of course, we have the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all their Airbus A320 family aircraft models. Looking fine on the main landing gear. The front landing gear, as always, massively oversized. I really do hope that they change that one day, and perhaps even could add some printed details to it one day. The printed details we don't get on the landing gear we find on the belly of the aircraft with these logos and the Transavia branding. The branding, of course, immediately destroyed by a hole in the fuselage for a stand that is not included with this aircraft model. Really quite pointless from Herpa Wings doing stuff like that. On top of the fuselage, we do find a sat dome, and in principle, I think it's always nice when Herpa adds sat domes to the aircraft models. In this case, however, the sat dome is really massively oversized. It is placed correctly, which is also not always the case, but as usual with Herpa Wings, the consistency of the sat domes is all over the place, and this is just way too big. So a print in this case would definitely have been the better solution. And then last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on, here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A321NEO in the still current standard livery of Transavia from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, on first glimpse, you would be excused if you said, I mean, everything is well with this aircraft model, isn't it? I mean, okay, it has the usual Herpa issues of the oversized front landing gear, the sat dome being a bit too big. But apart from that, isn't it just a fine aircraft model? On first glimpse, yes, I would grant you that. The print quality is overall quite alright. We don't see any print line issues, there aren't smudges, edges are clean, so yeah, that is alright. Even the physical detailing of the mold is actually not too bad. I mean, I'm often complaining about the cockpit and nose shape of the A320 family from Herpa Wings, and while it is also not perfect here, it is certainly not the worst offender of that issue. But what is an issue is the angle of the wings. And it is really strange to see that because there are so many of Herpa's recent releases, so not just this A321neo and not just this specific model, but a bunch of models, 777s, A350s, A321s, a bunch of aircraft types currently being released from Herpa Wings with wings angled at an almost 90-degree angle. And it is just so strange. I mean, again, it of course proves that Herpa has absolutely zero quality control, because how can you release that many models with the same issue? And it of course really takes out the fun of collecting, because placing this A321neo now next to another A321neo, it's just not fun when the models look so different and they should just look the same. Of course, it doesn't hinder Herpa to still have a recommended retail price of 40 euros for this model. I mean, yeah. Herpa doesn't learn. They continue to invent new issues with the aircraft models. They use years to fix current problems with the aircraft models, and they just increase the price again and again and again. And I mean, if they really want to stay relevant in the scale 500 market, now that either model is entering, I mean, they really fundamentally need to change their approach towards their products and also towards their customers, because this is not okay. It's of course always a shame when an aircraft model is released with an issue, but it is especially a shame with a model like this, because obviously this is a popular aircraft model, a model that many collectors have been looking forward to quite a bit, and it will sell well, which is almost even more of a shame, because Herpa doesn't deserve good sales with these kind of models when they can't be bothered to give us the quality or just, I mean, the basics, a correct aircraft model. But in many ways, it sums up Herpa's current situation quite well. They're actually making a model that many collectors look forward to, but they can't be bothered to have any quality control and deliver an aircraft model without issues while completely overcharging their customers. So that is Herpa Wings in a nutshell in 2025. But what do you say about this aircraft model? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you like this type of videos, then leave a like. If you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.